National Society of Red Cross in Djibouti, through the Restoration of Family Links program, apply oneself to help separated families following the conflict, natural disaster, or migration to restore contact. The Red Cross by its mission aims to serve its most vulnerable. Ivory Jet service from exclusive terminal in Djibouti enables you to reserve 24-hour, 24 business and VIP flight to all destinations of Africa, Middle East and the world. Travel on our fleet will bring you serenity, comfort and security. All our flights are also available for your sanitary emergency evacuation to the most powerful country in the world. Ivory Jet service and the world is finally yours.
Hey, comme ma télé, je suis le plus stylé pour les fêtes de fin d'année. Costume lumineux et programme exclusif. Merveilleux!
Pendant les fêtes les plus stylées des bouquets Canal+, retrouvez en exclusivité le meilleur du cinéma pour toute la famille.
Ça me plaît.
Des séries sensationnelles.
C'est le buzz assuré, vraiment.
Des émissions inédites.
La température est montée de quelques degrés.
Mesdames, messieurs, s'il vous plaît, du bruit.
Ou encore les plus grands rendez-vous sportifs. Et encore plus stylé. Jusqu'au 31 décembre, le décodeur passe à 5000 francs et la parabole est offerte. Dépêchez-vous.
wada awdaniyo geesina nama kuma jire duudhuub wada awdaniyo geesina nama kuma jire qoraan noo soo dhaxdee duudhuub wada awdaniyo geesina nama kuma jire duudhuub wada awdaniyo geesina nama kuma jire qoraan noo soo dhaxdee
abaldagacbaana kugile talada ku dhiibane abaldagacbaana kugile talada ku dhiibane allow dhaka fiicaniyo dhabada khayr kale kumari allow dhabada khayr kale kumari abaldagacbaana kugile talada ku dhiibane abaldagacbaana kugile talada ku dhiibane allow dhaka fiicaniyo dhabada khayr kale kumari allow dhabada khayr kale kumari
jiray.
Hello, good evening. It's 9 o'clock. Welcome to this English news edition. This is Gasir Ali and Hidayah Muhammad.
Thanks for joining us and welcome to our newsroom. Tonight, the national news is dominated by the extraordinary congress of the RPP party. During this congress, the participants have unanimously invested the outgoing president candidate to the Supreme Judiciary in 2016. The official slogan of the congress was "A man who comes to his people." The outgoing president thus becomes the candidate of the RPP to the UNP and the people of Djibouti in this day of December 6. Already in early November, the population of Djibouti has strongly mobilized to ask and even encourage the president to present for a new mandate. Ismail Mergele, who for once again present for a new mandate, has been welcomed at the Palace of the People by the conventionals and activists of the RPP, sympathizers and anonymous who came to the Congress in order to support the candidature of the outgoing president. All the conventioners were enthusiastic and have all expressed their unwavering support to the ongoing president in a festive atmosphere. He was accompanied by the First Lady, Mrs. Qadra Mohammed Haid, when he was joyfully greeted by the folk groups of the different national communities and by the first Vice President of the RPP and Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, as well as the General Secretary of the RPP and Minister of Finance, Ilyas Moussedouale, without forgetting the leaders of the political parties, the members of the executive committees of the RPP, as well as the hundreds of congressmen and women who came from different regions and of the country's municipalities. Upon entering the Congress Hall, the President has been standing ovation by the whole of the conventioners and representatives of the allied parties. Thereafter, the President Ismail Mergele has taken place at the podium under the cheers of the conventioners, in its size the President of the party, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, and the Secretary General of the RPP, Mr. Ilyas Moussedouale.
إلهي سنا الله وين
hayso
راسكول في بلد محاولي أقعد بسمر حب محاولي راسكول في بلد محاولي أقعد بسمر حب محاولي
أنت هو زعيمنا رئيسنا اسماعيل ثقتنا فيك تزيد أنت الأب الحنين أنت هو زعيمنا رئيسنا اسماعيل ثقتنا فيك تزيد أنت الأب الحنين نشكرك يا زعيمنا لأنك لبيت طلبنا نشكرك يا رئيسنا لأنك لبيت طلبنا أنت الخير لهذا البلد في عهدك تم الكثير أنت الخير لهذا البلد في عهدك تم الكثير كم من مشاريع أنشئت طرق ومدارس للأقاليم كم من مشاريع أنشئت طرق ومدارس للأقاليم أنت الخير لهذا البلد في عهدك تم الكثير أنت الخير لهذا البلد في عهدك تم الكثير.
The Congress of the RPP, which was held this morning at the People's Palace with all the congressmen and representatives of allied parties, was a strong moment that everyone was expecting, and following the agreement of the outgoing president to run for a new mandate. The works of this extraordinary Congress have been officially opened by the outgoing president. Previously, the anthem of the RPP party has issued in the room of Congress, where it was resumed by all the participants.
And now, once the works of the Congress have been launched, the head of state has, in his capacity as chairman of the RPP, gave the floor to the presidents of the allied parties, including the PSD, the PND, and the FRUD, and the chairperson of the PSD party. Mr. Ali Muhammad Daoud, chairman of the FRUD party at the extraordinary Congress of RPP, began his speech by saying, "Mr. President of the Republic, your country still needs you to complete the economic and social program in the policy of development that you have initiated and which is in the process of realization. Your extraordinary Congress is announced under the good offices, since your party has the privilege today to pronounce on the inauguration of President of the Republic for a new mandate. The FRUD, for its part, will have the opportunity to decide very soon in an official manner during a Congress scheduled for December 26, 2015, he concluded. As for the president of the PSD,
fait partie de la coalition UMP et le président est aussi notre candidat.
Nous sommes convaincus, Monsieur le Président, en tant que...
As for the president of the PSD, in her speech, has said that we are convinced that Mr. President Ismail Mergele, as a worthy son of his country, of this region in the African continent, is an example on which the Republic of Djibouti can today count for its development and its future. You have been able to show this through your concrete works at the head of the government of the Republic of Djibouti, she said. Our country needs politicians of your dimensions and your tempered for lead in order to continue to accelerate the process of development of our country and to finalize the major ongoing projects. It is vital that the Djiboutians want to have you at the head of our country because you are the carrier of a brighter vision and of a great ambition for the Republic of Djibouti.
Indeed, as for the president of the PND said that the members of our party are sending you their deepest and sincere greeting. We all stand up for last Tuesday is important and courageous decision you made to respond to all the needs of your country. The president of the UPR party has indicated in his intervention that since December 3, 2015, they are revealed because the president has responded favorably to the appeal of the people. He said that we are revealed because now we know where we are going and finally to know that the captain has decided to say an appeal.
In his intervention, the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ilyas Moussidouali, has addressed to all the Djiboutian population and reminding that their wish is granted. He said, "Here we are, dear friends, the long-awaited moments for months, the wishes of every social class in our country until the Grand March of November 1, 2015. Our citizens have repeatedly requested the President to accept well-represented for a candidate for the coming election of 2016. Finally, on Thursday, the 3rd December, our President spoke and responded positively to the request of all the Djiboutian population for his candidacy of the 2016 elections. The Minister of Finance, Ilyas Moussidouali, explained the objective of this gathering. He said, "Today we are here in this extraordinary Congress to officially invest a legitimate candidate for another party, the People's Rally for Progress, but also candidate of UMP. It is a huge relief." He said that many have welcomed the announcement of his candidacy. "I think it's a nice announcement so that the horses should be up to par and we will be missing more than two. Go ahead to support our president, not only this morning but for tomorrow and everywhere of the country," he concluded.
In a speech at the extraordinary Congress of the RPP party this morning, the President Ismail Mergele has recalled the spontaneous call the people that he qualified as a movement of November the 1st. He compared this call to us on a program that sounded the recall of trophies to honor and serve the homeland. Serve, build, and consolidate were the key words of this speech, a speech which recalled to conventionaries the responsibility to do better, to do more, and to be at the head of the requirements of the sovereign people. Let's listen to this report.
Chers militants, chers compatriotes,
at the very moment I am speaking to you, I have in memory the popular demonstration support which has mobilized the Djiboutian. These past few weeks, these demonstrations were expressing a common willingness of the people who translate an expression of democracy in its purest. The spontaneous cause of the people that I will name the movement of the 1st November. I see it as a token of confidence, but also as an expression of concern about the fate of our nation. I also see this call for what is a ring to recall the troops to honor and serve the homeland. Honor and serve, yes it is. Therefore, for me, this is a requirement of any moment. It is a requirement that has led my political commitment to the greatness of this nation and of its people. It is the same requirement of this same acute sense of duty which have dictated my actions and nourished my ambitions to see the progress this country has given so much to us. It's finally this single requirement which today leads me once again to want to endorse this heavy burden who need a gift of self-standing. I therefore submit once again with solemnity, with the remain concern to be at the head of the hope aroused, the hope of a strong Djibouti, of a unity Djibouti, to a Djibouti which address the many challenges of these times, now remain faithful to the values embodied by its men and women, the values of peace, tolerance, brotherhood, and progress.
The head of state did not fail to remind the common bond that ties the RPP party and the Djiboutian people in since its creation, the confidence that the people of Djibouti has placed in the RPP party, and how the head of state have placed this task at the forefront of his priorities. Let's listen to the president.
Aussi, le Rassemblement populaire pour le progrès est et restera en tant que parti historique.
Thus, the Popular Rally for the Progress is and will remain as a historic party, first Djiboutian party, depository of this hope. Yes, my fellow citizens, for many of our fellow countrymen, we always still embody the hope. Is therefore invested with the confidence of our people. We must discuss about the next deadlines with the serenity that gives our message, our vision, and our proposal, which are nourished by a long tradition of services to the nation. It's also this fighting spirit and this spirit of resistance wrought by decades of militancy which will still bear today, and that make our people continue to speak out. However, this legitimacy won to force of work, self-denial, and sacrifice, we support a common responsibility. A responsibility to do better, to do more, and to be at the head of the requirements expected by the people. No one can boast of being a providential alternative, but at bottom, we all know that the credibility is won first and foremost by the experience, by the work and taking risk, by the courage to make the difficulty but necessary choice to safeguard national unity, by the audacity to invest in future projects that will be a milestone for a sustainable economy. Finally, by the desire to find innovative solutions to social problems, to serve, to build, consolidate it is, therefore, our Vitiaku, and it is also our program. Thus, the structuring projects such as ports, airports, rail, road will eventually bring our growth and to make our regions of real economic engines. In the same way, the social reforms such as the project of the universal health insurance and the many programs of resilience for our compatriots to the most fragile will help to tighten the social link and to translate into practice the national solidarity. Finally, and in my view, this is the most important: consolidate national unity, never compromise on civil peace and harmony are the very foundation of our nation and our democratic, regardless of the contribution of each one of us in this fight exulting which led to the building of a strong nation as strong. Our satisfaction will be always to see the difference that make our actions as minimal they are in the daily lives of our fellow citizens.
The head of state has heard the Republic of Djibouti pleading for him to represent himself in 2016 election. He has given the long-awaited answer of the Republic of Djibouti. They have been so urgently waiting. Let's listen to the head of state.
dadweynuhu u hadlay waan nidhi anna waan ka daba hadlay inaguna waad ka daba hadasheen.
In his second speech, the President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, has first recalled the massive mobilization of November 1st, the people of Djibouti. He took the opportunity to reaffirm his decision to bow facing his determination. All Djiboutian population wishful to see their new mandate. The head of state Ismail Omar Guelleh has reiterated his firm determination to work for the welfare of the people of Djibouti. But this has clarified the need to remain vigilant because the period we are going through is missed by the existence of a certain number of challenges. It should be recalled that it's about the duty of each of us and jealousy ensure the gains. Our efforts of achieving cleanliness in our country is of a nature to hamper certain group of our individual serving interests that are not ours. Why thus he has said we must hold unite our forces to inflict a crushing defeat at the polls in 2016. The head of state trusts that this is about our dignity. On winning this election with a large majority is the only way to silence our enemies, but from outside, like those inside, a march towards progress. The latter expressed himself in the different manner and with the different means, such as the media, which coincidentally in interest in my country during my recent working visit to Africa Southern. They would like to know what's happening in our country without leaving their offices in major cities. Such behavior highlights the way that they work to interests compatible with those of the Djiboutian nation. The people of Djibouti is determined to preserve and defend the fruits of his efforts made to leave the country in the last development. No need to remember that we must mobilize to shoot out one way's victory come the moment.
One say leaders are natural God-given gift who show the path toward growth to their people. Others say they are forced by experience. Well, the following will enlighten us about the biography of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh. Let's see with more details.
Born in November the 27th, in 1947 in Dirdawa, Ismail Omar Guelleh, son of one of the first teachers in 1930s, at a very young age, he occupied his first job as a police in the Afar Isar French territory. He is in addition a very active member in the independence movement, something that will cause his eviction of the police in 1974. He then becomes a member of the African Popular People League for Independence, chaired by Hassan Guled Abtidon. He does not spare any effort to sensitize his fellows for the benefit of independence and obtaining a free country. EOJ is among the delegation of the African People Popular League for Independence who participated in 1977 to the preparatory negotiations for the independence of the Republic of Djibouti. After the accession to independence in 1977, he is appointed as the President Guled head of the cabinet in 1979. To the inception of the RPP, he is the chairman of the Cultural Commission. His capacity of chief of cabinet enabled him to negotiate with the Flood and allows country to find peace with the agreement of Ab'a in 1994. In 1999, he is elected President of the Republic of Djibouti. Who is Ismail Omar Guelleh for the Djiboutian? May the 8th in 1999, the people of Djibouti voted massively for its accession to the highest national sovereignty. 22 years later, the Djiboutians have entrusted their destiny to our leaders who has displayed from the outset of its determination to fight underdevelopment. Up to this date, Ismail Omar Guelleh accesses to the Supreme Magistracy. To answer the question of who is Ismail Omar Guelleh is for the average Djiboutian, it is important to emphasize the achievement of the past 16 years, who have no doubt forget the image the Djiboutian joined to the president. Indeed, on his accession to the Supreme Magistracy, he unveils his conviction that he will guide throughout this period, the one that consists in believing that backwardness is not a fatality. Belief which explain the launch of major projects, the construction of large port infrastructure, road, rail, and airport. For that reason, many of Djiboutians associate his name at the beginning of a new era for the country. The socio-economic development aimed of turning Djibouti into the hub for the region. The visionary leader has been successful by strengthening internal peace and national unity, two inseparable factors for any development. He thus becomes for the Djiboutian people the maker of peace and national unity. As the development cannot fully succeed without the strengthening prior to training and education, Ismail Omar Guelleh will forever be graved in the memory of the Djiboutian as the initiator of creating a Djiboutian university and many vocational training centers. In a country such as ours, whose existence as a sovereign entity is recent, it is universally recognized that any development project achieved contributed to the emergence of a feeling, the feeling that will belong to the same nation. On the regional and international level, EOJ has opened for the peace and stability to the forging Djibouti with an image has been the most contributor to these noble causes. Despite its means, Djibouti contributes effectively and efficiently for the pacification of Somalia and many other countries of the continent. All of these factors taken together make up as many good reasons which justify the will of the people of Djibouti to see the President Ismail Omar Guelleh continue the national reconstruction started in 1999.
Living for the only purpose of serving his country to its highest, and it was accomplishment we tell us about since its presidency in 1999. Let's watch this major realization and project of the president.
Has the President Ismail Omar Guelleh linked his destiny with countries and his people? The Popular Rally Party for the Progress, known as the RPP, has held the great meeting to officially name its leader as the unique leader to its succession. It's with an unprecedented joy the congressmen have welcomed this announcement, while the head of state has been subject to many and multiple pressures not to lead and follow the vision he has already set for his country. Besides, officials and militants spoke their mind and their enthusiasm for such a consensus. which has been unanimous, leaders of other political parties affiliated within the Union for the presidential majority have made the deposits to this nomination. Ismail Omar Guelleh has been the leader of his country since April in 1999, and he has been re-elected twice, April 2005 and then in April 2011, for successive term of 6 years and 5 years each time. A constitutional reform or not limiting the number of mandates has opened the path for this to many foreign powers on the role that can play in the struggle of the international community against the scourge of terrorism and piracy. He has committed to revive their ashes the Somali institutions and give hope to many brothers who were bruised by years of civil war and suffering. Ismail Omar Guelleh has launched in the country many construction sites that will boost the national economy and will provide opportunities of work to young people. Its action and its presence on the regional plan, particularly in favor of the economic integration of the member countries of the East African countries Common Market COMESA, gave him an unspeakable notoriety without common measure for a leader of the African continent. It is everywhere received by the leaders of major countries as a reliable and trusted partner. This is what has ensured the country a massive financial investment. It is this new money intake which helped launch a sudden major infrastructure projects needed by a country whose economy is based on services, with the support of the highest order to preserve and keep in excellent health. Human evidence will mark his country's history and posterity will transmit future generations.
Our team of the RTD have collected some of the reactions of the participants present at this important Congress. In the intervention of this participant said, "My reaction is huge. A reaction that the Djiboutian people were waiting since its last message address at the 1st of November. Following this message, the President has favorably responded to this appeal. This is a great day for us," he said, "because we know the work that the President of the Republic has made during this recent mandate. We know there will be ports that will be built, airports as well as railways which are being finalized. For that, I say the people of Djibouti has reiterated its confidence as well as the allied parties to the UNP. I say to the President of the Republic," he said, "to continue on the path of development that you drove for the country." As for this participants has expressed himself as the following by saying, "Today is a day of joy and day of celebration." Why? Because simply that the party has invested the President Ismail Omar Guelleh for the elections of 2016. After this historic demonstrations brought together more than 100,000 of persons, the President of the Republic has gave a favorable response to this instant demand of the population, and today it is a party which has invested him with the support of other allied parties. The father of the modern Djibouti, His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, has put Djibouti in orbit of development of the emerging. This is an opportunity for us to thank him and to continue in this way. On 2016, we look forward as the rally of the 1st of November, the entire population is blessed to re-elect our president with a historical score, he indicated. Counting on this population, we are counting on the youth, women and men.
Indeed, positive response of the President to the call of its militant and confusionaries who gathered today at the People's Palace to say that we really believe the project of a society of our President, that this is a program that we have already lived through, and we saw the achievement he brought. He said, this participant, we saw the construction at the social, economic, education and health level, an important program carried out by our head of state. We still seek for the support of the population for the next presidential election. Youth and population are with him. They have already expressed their support. We are always with him for him to realize his dream.
And now, moving on to the international scene. In Syria, the Islamic State's oil fields has been bombarded by British bombers as the first raid outcome. Let's see with more details.
Britain's Typhoon warplane and Tornado jets taking off from a base in Cyprus have now conducted 2 rounds of airstrike in Syria against the Islamic State and its lucrative oil installation. Visiting the fighters' pilots conducting the raid, and the UK Defence Minister said on Saturday that the aim was to hit the Islamic militant group command and control, to smash its supply lines and cut off source of its revenue. It is oil that underpin the terrorism that we have seen and help the Islamic State Daesh finance the terrorism operation, said Michael Fallon in Cyprus. The UK know it could be next on ISIL terror hit list after last month's attack on close neighbor France, already bombing the militants in Iraq. Britain joined the US-led mission in Syria after a vote in Parliament on Wednesday. The UK airstrike are unlikely to change the military balance, but the vote handed Prime Minister David Cameron the chance to show Britain's willingness to add to a Western consensus for taking the battle to militant in Syria.
And now in London, what seems to be a terrorist incident in Leytonstone tube station happened today. With more details, let's listen to this report.
UK police are treating a stabbing at the London Underground station as a terrorist incident. 3 people were injured, 1 seriously, after a man wielding a knife attacked them. Witnesses claim the assailant shouted at the time, "This is for Syria." Police were called to Leytonstone tube station, which lies 10 kilometers east of central London, at 7 p.m. A man was arrested after being tasered by officers. Britain is on its highest alert level, meaning a militant attack is considered highly likely, mainly due to the threat posed by Islamic militants who are encouraging supporters to attack the West. Last week, MP gave the go-ahead to airstrike on the Islamic State targets in Syria. Since then, the country's Air Force has launched 2 bombing raids.
This is it for this edition. Thank you for your attention and have a great evening.